Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Danvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my humble obeisances. So, I'm discussing a story today. It has many twists and turns and a many small stories inside it, like maybe 4 to 6 or 7 stories. So please pray that I'm able to convey all the stories correctly and in the right mode. And even though I'm very weak in my sadhana and bhakti, I hope that I can still convey the right emotions and sentiments and the rasa of the story to you. Let me say a quick Mangacharan and we'll get started. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadkamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Satam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakaltarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivrinda Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedant Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarane Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatam Ham Vande Shri Gurum Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Gurve Gaur Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol. Okay, so if it's okay, just for the recording purpose, I'll start from the very beginning because we did start with the beginning of the story yesterday a little bit, but if you don't mind hearing just that little portion again, I'll start from the very beginning so that if anybody's hearing the recording, they can connect the dots and not feel lost. Is that okay, Mataji? Okay, thank you, Mataji. So this story starts from the beginning of the creation, which we'll say basically when the Brahmaji appeared on the lotus flower. As you know that the lotus flower appears from the navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu, right? So there are 3 Purusha avatars, the 3 Purusha expansions of Krishna, the Mahavishnu or the Karnodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu and the Shirodakshay Vishnu, right? So Garbhodakshay Vishnu lays in the Garbhodak ocean. He enters into each universe, and in each universe, as he lays down, from his navel arises a lotus, right, with a long stem and the lotus at the top, and on the lotus appears Brahmaji. So Brahmaji appeared and he was given the task of secondary creation. He's the secondary creator, basically, which means that he creates the universe, that particular universe in which he is born, right? So he is given the task of creating various planetary systems in that universe. He assembles all the ingredients that have been created by Mahavishnu, and various things are manifested in this material world, right? So, in this way, Brahmaji was given some rules and regulations in which this material world will run. What is the purpose of this material world? Why jivas are being impregnated here by Mahavishnu? What is going on? All this knowledge was given to Brahmaji. So Brahmaji made this material world according to those rules and regulations, right? He um, put together everything and he came up with this material world with 14 planetary systems, and Bhulok is where the humans live, right? So, but at that time when he created this or this universe, he became very guilt-ridden and very depressed. So, this is like the first case of clinical depression where the creator himself is very worried about what he has done. What has he created? Why is he creating this sorrowful place, this miserable place, dukhalyam ashashvatam, anityam asukham lokam, where jivas are going to suffer so much. Jivas are being put here, and then this is like a prison house where they are going to suffer so much. And it is for their own good, because hopefully ultimately they'll develop hankering to go back to the Lord, but still they will circulate through various 8.6 million species birth after birth, and in each birth they'll go through various type of miseries: birth, death, disease, old age, and then various type of other kaleshas, the adi bhautik, adi devik, adhyatmic miseries. They will suffer from their own conditioning, they'll suffer from their anarthas, and they'll forget that they're related to the Lord. They'll forget their relationship to the Lord completely and get immersed in the temporary sense gratifications of this world. What is this place I've created? Why am I in charge of this? And I wish I could create a place where they will at least have some kind of bliss, some kind of true spiritual happiness, where they don't have to suffer so much. So Brahmaji, in this mood, prayed very fervently to the Lord, and meditated on him. And so the Lord appeared to him, and knowing his heart, he told Brahmaji that there is actually a place, a very, very wonderful place on your Bhulok, okay, on your earthly planet. And there, this place is so wonderful. Just visit for yourself and you will see the mysteries, the importance of this place, uh, and you will realize that that place will be actually a place of bliss for the jivas. So Brahmaji immediately got transported to this place. Okay, when he got there, it was a wonderful sight. This place was located in a blue mountain. So uh, this place was called Nilachal. Achal means something that doesn't move, right? Achal, like a mountain is achal, it doesn't move. So this place is called Nilachal. And it is located in this Niladri hills, Nilachal mountain, and Nilkandar caves. And inside these caves, there is a very beautiful deity, a blue sapphire deity, Ujjwal Nilmani deity of the Lord himself. And so wonderful, so beautiful that deity was, that Brahmaji was completely mesmerized upon seeing the beauty of the Lord. And sitting next to the Lord, the deity was Lakshmiji. So this is the deity of Neel Madhav. Okay, this is called Neel Madhav, Lakshmiji and Neel Madhav there in the cave of Neel. So in this way, when Brahmaji saw this, then he started touring the whole place, and he came to this water body, like a sarovar or a kund. It was called Rohini Kund, and he was taking delight in the beauty of this place, which actually looked like a little piece of the spiritual world itself, right? So as he was watching, he saw this crow come by, came flying close to the kund, Rohini Kund, and he took a little dip down and put his beak into the water to take a sip of water. As he dipped his beak into that water body, into the Rohini Kund, suddenly the crow got converted, or got the form of the four-handed form of Vishnu and got liberated. He went back to the Vaikuntha. When Brahmaji saw this, he was completely bewildered. What did I just see? What is this? This is not according to the rules of material nature that were told to me. This crow still had many, many species to go through, had to do bhakti, had to engage in the loving service of the Lord before he could go back to the Vaikuntha, to the spiritual abode. How did this happen? So as he was contemplating on this, suddenly Yamraj appeared. So the Yamraj was also, he had also seen this phenomena happen, and he was also very, very bewildered by what he had seen. So he came to complain to Lord Brahma basically that Brahmaji, what is this going on here in this place? How did this abominable creature, something, crow is considered a very low species. How did they just get the Sarupya Mukti and got liberated and went to the Vaikuntha? So he was completely also bewildered. He said, Brahmaji, you're not doing the right thing. I know that you are the creator, but I've been given the authority to punish the jivas for their sinful reactions. And that crow still had many, many lifetimes to go, and many, many karmic reactions to fulfill before he could get liberation like this. And that to Sarupya Mukti, like get the form same as Lord and go back. What are you changing the rules of the material world now? So as he was complaining to Brahmaji, suddenly Lakshmi ji appeared there. And Lakshmi ji stopped their bickering and she said, look, Yamraj and Lord Brahma, please listen to me carefully. This place, this Nilachal and this Nil Madhav deities, this whole place is called Purushottam Kshetra. Okay. This piece of land, which is very unique to this Bhulok, has been put here as an expansion of the spiritual world. This is the direct expansion of the spiritual abode of the Lord. So this is not your material world. And so this place does not come under your jurisdiction. Any of the demigods do not have any jurisdiction here, including you, Lord Brahma and Yamraj. Neither of you have any jurisdiction in this place. This place does not follow the rules of material nature at all. So, for example, if a normal, ordinary jiva who has not performed any bhakti in their life, okay, they have completely forgotten their relationship to the Lord and very well conditioned. If such an ordinary jiva comes to this place and even just lies down here, they will get the full benefit of paying obeisances to the Lord or to the devotees. If such a jiva just talks here, any nonsense they might talk, they will get benefit of glorifying the Lord, of doing the kirtan of the Lord, glorification. If such an ordinary jiva just sleeps here, okay, they're just sleeping, they're not doing anything extraordinary, just sleeping, they will get the benefit of a full samadhi, okay. And if such a jiva just walks here, they get the benefit of doing the parikrama, circumambulating the dham, okay, or the temples of the Lord. The same benefit that a jiva gets by doing the parikrama or the circumambulation of the dham or the temple, they get that benefit just by walking here. So such is the extraordinary power of this place. Okay, they get very, very many spiritual credits and benefits here, which are not according to your rules of material nature. So this is a place of bliss, just like Brahmaji wanted. This is the place where a jiva can get so much spiritual credit without having to do any extraordinary acts or austerities or penances or meditation or anything else. So, and if any of you, okay, Lord Indra or any of the demigods from the higher planets, look at this place from their planets to this down into the Bhulok and look at this place, they will see that all the jivas that are walking around here, they have the four-handed form. So it will look like many Vishnu Rupas are walking here, okay, and this place will be very lit, bright, effulgent, when you see from up top, from your heavenly abodes. So in this way, Lakshmi ji gave the glorification of this place. But Brahmaji was not satisfied. Brahmaji said, okay, But this place, why did you choose this place to put Neel Madhav deities? Why did Lord choose to come to this place only? Am I missing something? Is there some more glorification of this place that you have not told me yet? Please tell me. This place must have some history. So then Lakshmi ji said, yes, this place has a very wonderful event that happened here, which I will tell you. She said, and you can see the why this place is so dear to the Lord. So she began to tell them the story of a very great sage called Markandeya Rishi. She said Markandeya Rishi was a very great devotee, especially of Lord Shiva. And he got a boon from him of a very, very long life. You know, a long life to us may mean 100 years, 120 years, and nowadays we may say 80 or 90 years, right? But can you guess the life of Markandeya Rishi? His life was 7 kalpas long. And yesterday we were discussing the maths of Brahmaji's life. Not quite as long as Brahmaji's life, obviously, but his life was 7 kalpas, Markandeya Rishi. Now, Brahmaji's life, just to review the maths again, is total of 100 years in his years, not our 100 years, his 100 years, in which each day is equal to 1,000 Chatur Yugas, or called Divya Yugas or Chatur Yugas. You know, Chatur Yuga is a cycle of 4 yugas, right? So 1,000 such cycles of 4 yugas is 1 kalpa or 1 day of Brahmaji, just 1 day, not the night. And then comes the night of Brahmaji, right? In which annihilation happens, destruction happens. So this is the, and when we talked about how in each day of Brahmaji, 14 Manus come, right? Each Manu encompasses about 70 Chatur Yugas, right? And so if you multiply 14 with 70, it will come out to be about 1,000 Chatur Yugas. So in this way, the maths goes of Lord Brahmaji's life. So if you're following, you remember that Brahmaji has just been born and has created this material world, and Neel Madhav deities have appeared on the Nilachal Parvat, right, in Purushottam Kshetra. This is the story so far. Now Lakshmi ji is glorifying Purushottam Kshetra by giving a story of Markandeya Rishi. So we are coming to the second story now. Okay. So she said Markandeya Rishi had the lifetime of 7 kalpas. And it is a very long life. This is very, very lonely because everybody you know keeps going away, right? They live their short life and they leave. So you don't know anybody. After certain years, everybody changes, different people come. And it's okay in the daytime of Brahmaji at least, because there are people, there are jivas roaming about, you can do various activities and things. But the problem is when the night time of Brahmaji comes, because in the night time, annihilation happens. So there is just water everywhere, right? Water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. I don't know if you've heard that poem. But that was a situation with Markandeya Rishi. There was water everywhere in the night and very, very lonely, all dark, complete dark, like you cannot see your hand even. So dark and so cold, so dark and all water. And he's just floating in that water and doesn't know what to do. Nothing. You cannot even meditate or focus on the Lord or devotional services or anything in that situation. It is so hard. So he was in this way feeling very, very dejected and lonely. So another case of depression and dejection after Brahmaji. Huh? So he thought, why did I ask this boon of long life? What is the point of this? These nights are very, very hard. So then he was swimming in the water one day like that. एक जगह से दूसरी जगह float करते जा रहे, जाते जा रहे. And suddenly he hit a tree. Okay. This tree was a banyan tree, a what vriksh. And when he hit the tree, he saw a very beautiful form, very effulgent, beautiful form. This form was that of our little Bal Gopal, little Krishna. Not this little Krishna that you see, even smaller than that. Imagine the leaf of banyan tree, and on the leaf is laying a little bluish black baby boy who is holding the toe of his foot and putting it in his mouth and sucking on the toe. That form he saw. So in this to this form, a very beautiful verse is dedicated. It is said, करारविन्देन पदारविन्दम् मुखारविन्दे विनिवेशयन्तम् वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटे शयनम् बालं मुकुन्दं मनसा स्मरामि. So, Karar Vinde, with the lotus of his hand. Now, Padar Vindam, who holds the lotus of his own foot. The lotus of his hand, holding the lotus of his own foot. Mukhar Vinde, putting into the lotus of his own mouth. Vinveshayantam, and laying, shayan or laying down, on Vatasya Patrasya, on the leaf of a Vatvriksha. Pute Shayantam, Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. So the great sages meditate on this form of the Lord, in which he is doing this little Leela. So this form, Markandeya Rishi got to see when he hit that banyan tree. And he spoke to the Lord. He said, "Oh, my Lord, please help me. Please help me. What is going on with me? And how come I suddenly got your darshan? And why are you putting the sucking on the toe of your foot? Huh?" So he was so full, right? He hadn't talked to anybody. So he started firing volley of questions at Lord. This and that. What is going on? Why is it so dark? Why is it so cold? Why is it all water everywhere? What are you doing? Why are you putting the toe of your foot in your own mouth? So Lord said, slow down, Markandeya Rishi, slow down. You will get answers to all your questions. The reason I'm sucking on the toe of my foot is because I was just trying to see what taste my devotees get in touching my feet, in trying to achieve my feet. They always say it is lotus feet, and everything is very nectarian. So I wanted to see what is so nectarian about it. That's why I'm sucking my own toe. But so far I'm not able to taste anything. Now you are a devotee. Can you tell me what is going on? Why can't I get any taste? So Markandeya Rishi said, Lord, you cannot get any taste out of your own foot. You have to be a devotee. You have to have the love and devotion in your heart for you to be able to taste the nectar of your feet. So you forget about it. This is a futile activity for you. Only your devotees can taste the nectar of your feet. You cannot. But anyways, help me. So Lord said, okay. So he took the toe out of his mouth that he was sucking, and he sucked the water. Very deep suck. And as he sucked, Markandeya Rishi went into his mouth. With that big suck, he went into his mouth, inside his body. And he saw all the universes, all the planetary systems, all the beauty, all the effulgence, Vaikunthas, everything he saw that is there to see in the whole creation. And suddenly, the Lord spit him out. And he came flying out of Lord's mouth. And he landed in this place called Purushottam Kshetra. So the Lord told him that from now on, you stay in this place. Okay, this is a very, very wonderful place. This is non-different from my spiritual abode. This is an expansion of the spiritual world, spiritual sky. And this place is completely free from annihilation. So even when Brahmaji's night comes, this place will not be devastated. This place will not experience the cold and the darkness and the water and everything that you've been experiencing. So during those nights of Brahmaji, you will be completely safe here. So meditate on me, on my names, and you will be free from any kind of problems of this long life that you have been given. So in this way, Markandeya Rishi started meditating on the Lord here. And very, very deep meditation he went into. Okay, so deep that he even attracted the attention of Shivji. And Shivji thought, this is my devotee. He is in a deep meditation on the Lord. That is what Shivji wants, that all the jivas to meditate on the Lord himself. That the person that he meditates on, he wants all the jivas to meditate on that person. So he's thinking, finally, Markandeya Rishi has seen some sense. And instead of asking long life, he is now meditating on the Lord himself. What wonderful situation for him. Let me pay him darshan and see what he wants next. So Shivji went and stood in front of him and started calling to him. But Markandeya Rishi was in such a deep meditation that he will not listen to Shivji. So Shivji's energy, Uma Devi, she told him, you just merge into the air and enter through his nostril into his heart, okay? And manifest, show your form inside his heart, and then ask him whatever questions he has. So in this way, Shivji entered into his breath, into his life air itself, and entered into the heart of Markandeya Rishi and showed his form. And he said, Markandeya, what do you want next? I know that you're meditating on the Lord, but I'm very, very pleased with this meditation you're doing. Please ask me, what boon can I give to you? I want to fulfill. I will give you anything. I will even give myself to you. What do you want? So Markandeya Rishi said that, Lord, I made a very big mistake by asking the long life from you. I should have never done that. Please just give me. I don't want anything. Na dhanam, na janam, na nothing, right? What I want is the pure, unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Please give me that, even if I have to die, even I have to give up this long life, even I have to take birth again, even I have to go in any species, may I never forget the Lord. May I never forget my relationship to the Lord. Give me that boon. So Shivji was so happy with this benediction that Markandeya Rishi asked for. He said, yes, I give you that benediction. You will be serving the lotus feet of the Lord in whatever way he desires. You will be his servant. And I'm so pleased with you that I give you this linga. He gave him the linga to worship. And he said, please serve this linga for the rest of your life. And once you leave, once your time is over, in this particular place, Purushottam Kshetra, this particular place, Lord will manifest himself in many, many forms, and jivas will worship him, and all your devotion, all this dedication will benefit the whole mankind. Okay, but you worship this linga, and there will be and even now there is this place which is famous for Markandeya Rishi, because there is a Markandeshwar. There is a place called Markandeshwar, which is famous as the Shivji, as the linga that Markandeya Rishi used to worship, that Shivji had given him. And there is a Markandeya Sarovar also in the same place. So Lakshmi ji in this way wrapped up her story to Brahma ji and Yamraj, and she said, this place is very, very wonderful. This place has seen such a great sage like Markandeya Rishi and his unalloyed devotion to the Lord. And so anybody that comes to this place will get many, many spiritual benefits. And so Brahmaji, and then she further told Brahmaji that this deity of Neel Madhav will be served by the jivas for the 50 years of your life, right? So the first 50 years of your life, the jivas will be serving Neel Madhav deities, and the second half of your life, the next 50 years of your life, you will be serving the Neel Madhav deities in your own planet, in the Brahma Lok. And at that time, another form of Lord will manifest here, and that form will be manifested by another great devotee of the Lord, which will be our different story. But in this way, Lakshmi ji disappeared, and Brahma ji and Yamraj also disappeared. And this place became very, very famous, very, very revered place. Very beautiful deities of Neel Madhav were there, which were being served by the jivas, and a lot of souls got wonderful spiritual benefits by residing or by visiting this place. So these were the two stories. I will start the third story if you are all okay, and if there are any questions, we can. And I don't want to keep talking in case somebody is losing the thread of the story here. Please share if any questions, or if you want me to keep going. Is it okay?
Please keep going, Mataji.
Okay. So we'll go to the next story. So now this story that you heard so far was at the beginning of Brahmaji's life. Okay. Now the next story comes in a different kalpa. So we are in a very, very different kalpa. Okay. Kalpa meaning the one day of Brahmaji. Now this story that I'm telling you is from the time of Krishna. and not from our Kalpa. This is a different time when Krishna was Dwarkadish, and he was residing in Dwarka with his 16,108 wives, and Lord Balram was there, and many other devotees were there. So different Kalpa, okay? So what happened was, one day Satyabhama told other queens, they had a reflection that they shared with each other, that Krishna is, even though he's married to us, but sometimes I find him in a very very different mood, very uh, unique mood comes upon him, where he is as if he's feeling separation from something or somebody. Even when he's sleeping, he'll wake up calling out the names of different people. He'll say Radha, Radha, Vishakha, Lalita, Subal, Madhumangal, Yashoda Maya, Nand Maharaj. He'll wake up and say names of these different people, and mostly, all from Vrindavan. And he keeps saying different things in his sleep, and then he'll wake up and he will be in a very different mood, where he's very much in separation or sorrow from these people. So I am not able to understand this mood of him at times that comes upon him. And the other wives also shared the same shared the same experience with Krishna. They said, yes, you are right. We have also seen Krishna go into these kind of moods. Sometimes even these moods are not sorrow. Sometimes these are ecstasies. When he remembers various events from Vrindavan, he goes into these ecstatic moods. Various features come upon him that are very, we have never seen before. Those kind of symptoms come upon him. So what is the secret to all of this? I wish we could get entrance into these secrets, into these affairs that happened in Vrindavan, into these relationships that he exchanged with all these people he calls out with. What kind of relationships he had? What kind of feelings does he feel? I wish we could understand these feelings, these emotions. So who should we ask? Who should we ask? So let's see if anybody would tell who would they ask? Somebody who was in Vrindavan at the same time, who would know all these leelas. Hima, would you like to guess who did they ask all this? Yes, Rakshita Mataji.
Mataji, Tulsi Maharani.
Tulsi Maharani. Okay, interesting. I didn't think about that. Anand Kishori Mataji answered, but no Mataji, not Subhadra Maharani.
Balram.
Balram. Okay, yes. Yes, all these people were there. Subhadra Maharani, Tulsi Maharani, Balram ji. One more person was there in all these leelas and or experience. Okay.
Radharani.
Yeah, but Radharani is not in Dwarka, right?
Okay.
Who can the wives ask?
Rohini.
Rohini. Yes, Ansh. That's perfect. I knew Ansh would guess it. Very bold.
Ansh is amazing, Mataji. Yesterday also he answered about, yes, he's amazing. Yeah.
I know. Every time I feel lost, I just have to ask Ansh.
Yes.
I know. He's amazing. He's wonderful. So yes, so the wives decided to ask Mother Rohini.
Thank you.
They decided to ask Mother Rohini because she was there in the Vrindavan Leela, so she's very well aware of all the pastimes that happened. So they all crowded around Mother Rohini and they said, please, we want to hear all these Leelas that happened in Vrindavan that Krishna is so attached to. We want to know all the details about these various people that he calls out, and what kind of relationships he shared with them, what kind of sentiments he feels. Please discuss in detail. Please tell us everything. So Mother Rohini said, I will tell you everything, but we cannot let Krishna and Balram hear this. Now Krishna and Balram are right now sitting in the court of Dwarka and they are conducting their royal business, right? I don't want them to hear this. Because they are the lord of these sound vibrations, right? That's why when we chant, we say Krishna is sitting right next to us when we chant. So chant properly. You're calling out the names, and whenever you're glorifying Krishna, he comes and sits and hears the glorifications, right? So in this way, Krishna will come. So we have to make sure that he doesn't hear, him or Balram don't hear these stories, because if just by remembering these stories they go into these ecstatic moods, I can't even imagine what would happen if they hear these stories as I'm reciting, as I'm narrating them. So let's not let them hear. So can we make some arrangement? So then they told another person who is already aware of these stories to go and guard the door.
Subhadra.
Yes, Ansh, very bold. So Subhadra Maharani, yes, Subhadra Maharani already has heard everything. So she's very well aware of these stories. So they told her, okay, you go and stand at the door while we hear all these stories inside the room. You go stand at the door, make sure Krishna and Balram don't enter. She said, okay. So she was at the door guarding. And here inside, Mother Rohini is narrating the stories, the Vrindavan Leelas in great detail to the wives. But as she started narrating, Subhadra Maharani can still hear. She can also hear at the door. And as she was hearing, she could not control herself. She became transported into those leelas that happened in Vrindavan. She forgot that she's guarding the door. And suddenly these ecstatic symptoms started coming to her, right? Her eyes started dilating, just hearing these stories, all those ashtavikaras, all those symptoms started coming into her body. And of course, Krishna and Balram could not stay away. They could hear, they heard, the sound vibrations came floating to them, right? Krishna says that I will come whenever you glorify me. That is why we should glorify the Lord as much as we can. So Krishna and Balram came running. They left their oil business and they came running to the door where Subhadra Maharani was guarding. And as they saw her, they saw that her eyes were dilated. Her hair is gone. Her limbs are shortening and shrinking inside her body. They're coming inside her body. And she's completely in ecstasy. She's lost. She's not guarding the door anymore. She's just listening, enthralled, completely enthralled by the pastimes that Mother Rohini is narrating. And when Krishna and Balram heard these pastimes, this standing at the door hearing, same things, same symptoms started happening to them. Their eyes started dilating. They became red. Eyes became bloodshot red. Their hair started going away and the limbs started shrinking into the body. The stature started decreasing and they became completely mesmerized, completely engrossed into this pastimes of Vrindavan that Mother Rohini is so lovingly narrating in a very, very great detail to the wives. Now these three people are standing outside the door in this form. Imagine this form. They are hearing these pastimes, these kathas, Rajleelas, and completely mesmerized and in these three forms, okay, with their eyes red and dilated and limbs shrunken and big smile on their face, like ear to ear smile on their face. And in this mood, when they were, one person came there, a very great devotee of the Lord who's a transcendental space traveler.
Narad Muni.
Yes, I know Ansh has all the answers. Thank you, Ansh. Yes, so this transcendental space traveler, this Narad Muni, the pure devotee of the Lord, who also goes everywhere where there is Krishna Katha, he goes everywhere, right? That is why our beloved Prabhupada used to say that even if there is nobody listening to your Katha, be sure that Narad Muni is there, right? One time, devotees had booked a very big hall for Prabhupada, and not many people showed up. It was a very small number of people that showed up for Prabhupada's lecture, and they had flown Prabhupada to a different city for this. They had booked a big hall, spent money, and when not many people showed up, they were apologizing to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, we expected more numbers, but could not arrange. So Prabhupada said, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Did you not see Narad Muni sitting at the back? Narad Muni was there." So, Narad Muni would come anytime a pure devotee of the Lord is narrating these stories, these kathas, right? So Narad Muni came and Narad Muni saw these three forms standing at the door, listening, completely mesmerized, enthralled, and with big smile on their faces. And this form, this unique form of these three lordships, Uh, and he immediately paid Dandvat. He immediately fell down and paid obeisances and started offering them prayers. And when he was offering prayers, the meditation of the three lords broke. They suddenly came to their original form. They came out of this um, meditation on Braj Leela that they had gone into, this ecstasy that they had gone into. The ecstasy broke and they came out into their normal form, original form. So they saw Narad Muni, and Narad Muni said, oh my Lord, I have seen you, I have seen this. What have I seen? What have you shown me? He was completely jumping up and down in joy. What have you shown me, my Lord? What was this form? I have seen something really, really beautiful. So Lord said, Narad Muni, please don't tell anybody about this. So Narad Muni said, I won't tell anybody about this, but this form of yours was amazing. Please, can you stay in this form at some place in this whole universe? Can you manifest this form of yours and stay like that sometime? So please give me this benediction for the benefit of the other jivas. I want them to see this form, this beautiful, unique form of yours, where you are in complete separation from Vrindavan, from complete separation from Radharani, and meditating on the Vraj Leelas and feeling those symptoms. That form, can other jivas also benefit from this this form of yours? Please manifest somewhere in this whole universe, this material planet, which is a place of miseries. Show this form somewhere. Please exist somewhere in this form. So Lord said, they pacified Narad Muni that, your wish will be fulfilled, and not in this kalpa, but in another time of Brahmaji. After 50 years of Brahmaji is completed, we will manifest this form. Once the Neel Madhav deities disappear, we will appear in this form, and one of my other devotees will be responsible for bringing these forms to Nilachal. So don't worry, don't despair, that these forms will come, but not just yet. Because right now Neel Madhav are still existing, and they will be there for now. But after 50 years of Brahmaji, when Neel Madhav is gone and jivas are suffering again and feeling separation from Neel Madhav, they don't have anybody else to render service to, then I will come in this form again at that time. So in this way, Narad Muni got this boon from Krishna and disappeared. So, we saw first how Brahmaji wanted a place of bliss for jivas, and it was his mercy that Nilachal appeared, Neel Madhav appeared in Nilachal. And then it was the munificent nature of another pure devotee, Narad Muni, by whose mercy the Jagannath forms, the Jagannath deities will appear in the same Purushottam Kshetra once the Neel Madhav deities disappear. So that is how munificent the pure devotees of the Lord are. So this is the third story. And now we come to the story of the appearance of Jagannath Ji. So this is where the whole story was building up to. Is everybody following the timeline and the story, or is it too complicated and winding? Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, so after the Narad Muni saw Jagannath, Krishna, Balram, and Subhadra as we see now Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Mai, so they were where they were that time. So after that they appeared, or that time they were in Jagannath Puri only.
So this is all of this was going on in Dwarka. Remember, Mataji, they are sitting in Dwarka, and the wives are hearing the stories from Mother Rohini. So this whole happened in Dwarka, and the forms were just shown to Narad Muni for a brief few minutes.
Okay.
And then they came back into their original form. But Narad Ji, only person who got the darshan of these forms was Narad Muni.
Okay, yes, Mataji.
But the deities have not come yet, because Lord said they will come in the second half of Brahmaji's life. In the next second,
Yes. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So once Brahmaji turns 50 years old, then the next story starts. So so the first story was when Brahmaji had just been born. Now we go to Brahmaji is turning 50 years old. His 50th birthday is coming. So what present he gets for his 50th birthday, right? We already know what present he's getting. and what present jivas are getting. But how did this whole thing transpired? We'll talk about that through this story. So, okay, so now Brahmaji is turning 50 years old. So at that time, there was a king called King Indradyumna Maharaj. He ruled the earth, the whole earth planet. Okay, and the capital of earth, or the Bhulok at that time, was a place called Avanti. Okay, so he ruled in that Avanti, the capital city. Okay. And you know that in those times, the kings used to be very, very pious, and not only pious, devotees of the Lord, the truly the representatives of the Lord, as Lord says in Bhagavad Gita that a king should be my representative, naram naradipamaham, right? Then I am the king among the ordinary people. So a kingdom used to be ruled according to the teachings of scriptures and Bhagavad Gita and Krishna's instructions. So that is why they were representatives of the Lord. Their goal was not to just sit on the throne and enjoy all the pleasures that are associated with the throne, but their goal was the spiritual upliftment of the kingdom, and rule them in such a way that there is varnashram dharma followed properly, and everybody is elevated spiritually as well, right? So that is the kind of King Indradyumna was, much like other great kings that are mentioned in Bhagavatam, like Yudhishthir Maharaj or Parikshit Maharaj or Amrish Maharaj, like that. He was also a very, very great king and a devotee of the Lord. So so one time in his kingdom came some sages. Okay, they were visiting from some other city, and king used to meet with all the sages and saints and take their advice and everything. When he met these sages, he asked them a question, because he had everything in his life. He had a very, very pious wife also who used to rule alongside him. Her name was Gundicha, Queen Gundicha. Okay, she used to rule alongside him, and he had a lot of wealth. He had a great kingdom. His citizens were also very, very pious and devoted to the Lord. All the wealth, all the treasures, all the knowledge, everything he had. Good body, good health, everything. But he asked the sages one question. He said, I wish that I could get darshan of the Lord, the personal, form of the Lord, a beautiful deity that I could personally serve, and that I have this longing to exchange some relationship with the Lord, a deity that I want to serve, that I want to devote my life to. I wish there was such a deity somewhere in this world, and that would depict all the beauty that I have read about in the scriptures, the beautiful form of the Lord. I wish I could serve that form of the Lord. So the sages said, then you'll be very pleased to know that actually there is such a place in this world where you will feel like you have come to the spiritual world itself. And in fact, it is said in the scriptures that this place was given to us was given to Brahmaji as a mercy, as a blessing for the jivas. And so there is a beautiful deity there. I do not know, people don't know where that place is, but that deity is called Neel Madhav deity. That Vigraha is Neel Madhav. And you can try to find him. So then Maharaj Indradyumna was very, very excited upon hearing this. He heard the description of the deity, and he called all his Pandits and Brahmins of the kingdom, and they all started looking into the scriptures, started getting details of the Neel Madhav from the scriptures, and described the beautiful form of the deity to the Maharaj. And when he heard more and more about him, he was completely attached to this deity. That I want to find this deity, I want to serve them, and I want to devote my life completely. I'm tired of ruling the kingdom. I will hand over the kingdom as soon as I can find the deity. So he called very important people, very knowledgeable people who had great knowledge of the scriptures to his court. And one such person in his court was a person, was a minister, one of the ministers who was very learned in scriptures, and his name was Vidyapati. He called Vidyapati and many other people also, and sent them in different directions to find this deity. Go in entire kingdom in different places and find this deity. So now Vidyapati, based on the knowledge of his scriptures, had some idea which direction he should travel. He knew that you had to travel somewhere above the Indian Ocean and below the Mahanadi, and somewhere in that area we may be able to find this place, this Nilachal place. So they all went in different directions, and Vidyapati went in this direction where he thought the Nilachal might be. He traveled for a long time, right? He would take breaks in between, but he kept on traveling and covered quite a lot of distance. But after a few months of traveling, he came to this place, this town or this little village he came, which appeared it was very beautiful. The people there, although they were tribal people, but they were very cultured. And he stayed there. He felt very nice in their company. And that place was ruled by a tribal king. These tribal people were called Shabras. Okay, Shabras is the same people to which a great devotee of Lord Ram called Shabri also belonged to this same dynasty. So these Shabras were living in this town, and their king, the tribal king, his name was Vishwavasu. Please remember the name Vishwavasu because it will come a few times. So Vishwavasu was ruling this place. So Vishwavasu met Vidyapati, and he offered him, a nice prasadam, place to reside. He said, you can even live with me, and I will, as long as you want to live before you go on with your journey, you can stay here. So Vidyapati started living in the house of Vishwavasu. Now there are a couple different differences in scriptures. By the way, this story comes in Skand Puran. So the story is being told by Gemini Rishi to the sages, okay, about the Jagannath deity. So he's giving the description of the Purushottam Kshetra and the Jagannath deities to the sages who inquired to him about this. So there are two different stories here. I'll just stick to one story that I've heard more than the other. In that story, it was said that Vidyapati would go every day somewhere, and when he would come back, his body would smell very, very fragrant aroma would come out of his body. He would look very effulgent, and he would bring this prasadam, and that prasadam was very, very tasty. It was as if this was out of the world. It was not made of the elements of this material world. It was an out of the world prasadam. And very, very nice ambience existed in that house, and very nice transcendental mood will come upon Vidyapati also when Vishwavasu would come. So now Vishwavasu asked, Vidyapati asked Vishwasu that where do you go? What do you do? And why is everything so transcendental in looking about you when you come back? Your everything about your aura is completely transformed. So can I know the secret? Now here there a story comes, which again I will not go into details, but it is said that Vishwavasu had a daughter called Lalita, and Vidyapati actually married her, and he inquired from his wife, where does your father go, and why does it seems and smells and everything tastes so different? Where does he go? So two different versions. In one he asks his wife, in the other he's asking Vishwavasu directly that where are you going? Either way, Vishwavasu told him that we worship a deity, but I cannot show you the way how to get there, because Shabras or our dynasty has been foretold that one day those deities, Neel Madhav deities, will disappear. If one of the kings will come, and when he comes, the deities will disappear. So we are very hesitant to show the route to Nilachal to any foreigner. So please forgive us, we cannot show you the route, but we can give you the darshan of the deities. So Vidyapati agreed readily, that's fine, don't show me the way, just give me the darshan. Now, this is what he has come here for. He's looking all over the place for Neel Madhav deities, and this person that he's staying with, he has direct access to the deities. So he said, okay, yes, I want to go and get the darshan. So they blindfolded him and took him towards Nilachal. But Vidyapati was very intelligent. As he was going, he took some mustard seeds with him and started spreading them. As they were going, so he started putting the seeds on the whole trail in which they were traveling. Nobody noticed this. Okay, so this was his way of figuring out this was his intelligence of figuring out the way later on if he needed to find the deities. Anyways, so he reached the Nilachal, he was taken into the cave, the Nilkandra cave, and got the darshan of Neel Madhav. When he saw Neel Madhav, when he saw the beauty, the effulgence, the Ujjwal Neelmani deities, the blue sapphire deities, so beautiful, such a beautiful form of the Lord, he fainted. And when then when he came around, he was completely mesmerized by the whole environment there, just like Brahmaji was mesmerized, right? And he saw Vishwavasu do the worship of the Lord, do all kind of offer different kind of paraphernalias and everything. And then and then Vishwavasu gave him the prasadam. He said, tell me why this prasadam tastes so wonderful. I mean, I have had prasadam other places also, but not only is this place completely different vibes here, the transcendental vibes here, the deity here, everything. How is it so wonderful? So then he told him the same story that we discussed about Brahmaji getting this benediction from the Lord, and how the deities are, how this place is a direct expansion of the spiritual abode of the Lord. And what wonders can one achieve by just visiting this place, how this place is Purushottam Kshetra. Everything he told him the whole story. And he said, this prasadam, the reason it tastes so wonderful is because it is not cooked by us. This prasadam is not made by us. What happens is, in the daytime, I or my people, the the Shabra dynasty people, serve the Lord in the daytime, but in the night time, demigods serve the Lord. And they cook the bhoga for the Lord, and that bhoga that they cook is what I was bringing home every day. That bhoga is what those flowers is what I would carry with me, which is why my body would be so fragrant. That bhoga is what I would bring back, which is actually cooked by the demigods and would taste so amazing out of this world, because it is not part of the bhulok, it is part of a heavenly planetary system. So in this way he told Vidyapati everything, and then Vidyapati came back. And now Vidyapati could not wait. He had to go back and tell the king everything. This is what his king had sent him for. So he wanted to go back to Indradyumna Maharaj and tell him the location of these deities. So he immediately went. He immediately went to Indradyumna Maharaj. So we have exceeded the time. Would you like to continue this tomorrow?
Mataji, is it very long? We can today also, if it is okay with everybody.
It is not, maybe another 10 minutes, and whatever you think.
But fine.
Yeah, I think you should continue and finish the story.
Okay. Well, I'll try to be fast. Okay. So Indradyumna Maharaj, as soon as he heard that the location of Neel Madhav deities has been found, and he heard the description of the deities from Vidyapati, he immediately ordered the whole kingdom, wrap up everything, let's go. The whole kingdom, the whole, and everybody basically wrapped up and took off with Indradyumna and Gundicha. Let's go towards this place. So they started all traveling, because he had this strong desire to see this Lord, to serve this Lord, right? So they all started traveling towards Nilachal, according to Vidyapati's directions. Now, after many days of traveling, they reached this place called Utkal. Utkal is another city. And remember, Indradyumna Maharaj is the Maharaj of the whole earth, and Utkal is basically under his under his kingdom, basically, right? So once he reached Utkal, he saw that the environment there was very morose, and some people were crying, some people looked depressed and not happy. So he asked people there, "What is going on? Why are you all so sad?" So they informed him that, we had a very, very bad news. Actually, last night there was a very big cyclone, and in that cyclone, this beautiful place that we used to visit called Nilachal is completely destroyed, and there used to be a very beautiful deity of Nil Madhav that has now disappeared. Now, as soon as Indradyumna Maharaj heard, this is what he was waiting for. And they have traveled so far and they have wrapped up their whole kingdom. Everybody's joined them to see Nil Madhav. And they were heartbroken. They were completely disturbed. How can you say they had disappeared? Where did they go? Why did they go? So he was completely, heartbroken, and sat down in meditation on the Lord. Please help me. I don't know where to go, what to do next. I don't want to go back. That I left, all those kingly duties and all seem very, very mundane. What kind of life is that? I want to serve the Lord. I don't want to carry on like that anymore. And the lords have disappeared. Have I done something sinful? As soon as I was approaching, they disappeared. So in this mood of lamentation and also very severe desire to see the Lord, he sat down in meditation. And when he was meditating like this, Narad Muni appeared. So Narad Muni, because remember that there are two people who have been instructed. One, Narad Muni by Krishna. Krishna told Narad Muni at that time, remember in the Dwarka story that we heard, he actually instructed Narad Muni that one of my devotees, Indradyumna, will manifest the deities and you help him. Okay. And before, Brahmaji was also instructed by Lakshmi Devi that once Nil Madhav deities disappear, you have to help the next devotee who will manifest the next deities. Okay. So there are two people, Brahmaji and Narad Muni, who have been instructed by the lords to help Indradyumna Maharaj. So Naradji appeared. So Naradji told Indradyumna that don't despair, my king. Don't despair. I will show you what to do next. Let's go to this place called Bhubneshwar. Okay. Actually it's going to be longer than if I'm going to tell more. Maybe I'll tell the rest of I'll just tell the basic story, and there are one or two smaller stories that I really want to share. We can do those tomorrow, but I'll share the big story now. Otherwise I won't be able to do justice. So he said, let's go to Bhubneshwar. He said, in Bhubneshwar, I want you to worship Shivji, okay? Because Bhubneshwar, just like Gopeshwar, Chakleshwar, right? In this way, there is Bhubneshwar. Bhubneshwar basically is the name of the Shivji that's guarding that place, okay? And there is a whole story why Shivji is there guarding that place. What happened? I'll tell that one tomorrow. Why Bhubneshwar is called Bhubneshwar. He said that place is guarded by Shivji. Please go to that place and worship, meditate on Shivji and ask for his help. He will tell you what to do next. So in this way, king marched on. Okay, he was again re-energized, came out of his despair. The pure devotee of the Lord, Narad Muni, has told him that everything will be fine and there is still some hope. So let me take the next instruction from Shivji. So in Bhubneshwar, he meditated on Shivji, and Shivji told him that yes, there is still hope for you, and yes, Nil Madhav deities have disappeared and you will not get their darshan. You can get their darshan in your heart if you want, Antarang darshan, but you will not get Bahir darshan because they have disappeared. Now they are in Brahmalok as was predicted, and Brahmaji is serving them. Okay, but for the next part of Lord's plan, you can be instrumental, but you have to perform a very big service before that. Okay, because you are going to make history. You are going to create history. You are going to deliver so many jivas that you have no idea. So, and that will come at a very big cost. And the cost is this, he said. One, you have to install these Narsinga deities in Purushottam Kshetra, okay? And in the same place, you have to do 1,000 Ashwamedh yajnas. And you know, devotees, it's not, I mean, it's not easy to do even one Ashwamedh yajna, 1,000 Ashwamedh yajnas, and install the nursing deities with proper Vidhi Vidhan. So that part of installing the deities, nursing deities, was still relatively easy, and Indradyumna Maharaj carried that out. And then he started performing the 1,000 Ashwamedh yajnas. He had done 999 yajnas. Last yajna was remaining. And the night before that, he had a dream. In the dream, he saw the four-handed form of Vishnu smiling at him. And next day he shared that with Narad Muni. He said, and because remember, Narad Muni is helping him throughout. He's helping him install the nursing deities. He's helping him conduct the Ashwamedh yajnas. So he shared this with Narad Muni, that I had this dream last night. What does this mean? He said, Narad Muni said, my dear king, if Lord appeared in your dream, this is most auspicious. It means he's very pleased. You have carried out 999 yajnas. He's smiling at you. That means your purpose of doing these yajnas, everything will be fulfilled. Go ahead and do the last yajna. Let's see what happens. Okay, we'll see what Lord's plans is. Let's go and do this yajna. So they did the last Ashwamedh yajna also. After the last yajna, as they were completing, the many people came running. People from Indradyumna's entourage that were helping him, they came running. And they said, oh my king, oh Narad Muni, a very unique phenomena has happened. A very weird thing has happened. Something very huge. It's not a tree. It's something huge, very long tree, you can say, log of wood has come floating into the ocean. Okay, remember he's in Purushottam Kshetra where there is ocean, so beach. So a very big log has come. Come, let us take you there, because that log of wood has so many markings on it. Practically every inch of that wood is covered with these markings of Vishnu. Just like you see these markings on Vishnu's feet, right? 19 markings, 11 on one and 9 on other foot. All those markings are there on this log. Can you come and see? They all went there and they saw this big log of wood. They took that log of wood out of the water. And this day that the log of the wood appeared, this day is the appearance day of Jagannath ji, right? Because the Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities are going to manifest from this log of wood. So this day is the day of Snan Yatra. This is the day of appearance day of Jagannath ji. Okay. If you want, when I tell you small stories, and we'll talk about Snan Yatra tomorrow if we have time. So the log appeared. They got the log out, and Indradyumna Maharaj asked Narad Muni. He's doing everything under the direction of Narad Muni, right? So he said, "Okay, Narad Muni, what should I do next? What do I do with the log?" He said, "Don't worry, something will happen soon." And as they were talking, suddenly a very old Brahman appeared, came walking to them, and Narad Muni said, "Here is the answer to your problem." He said, this Brahman is none other than Vishwakarma. And they stopped Vishwakarma Brahman, who was in the form of old Brahman, and they said, "Can you please help us?" He said, "Yes, the purpose of this log is of this log appearing here is that the Lord will manifest himself in the form of deities through this log, and if you want, I can carve those deities for you." So Indradyumna Maharaj said, "Yes, please carve these deities for us. What are we waiting for? Let's go." So Vishwakarma said, "But I have request or a demand. I have a demand. The demand is that I will work on this log for 15 days straight, and you will not disturb me. You will not open the door to my chambers where I'm working. You will not try to give me food or water. There may be sound coming from inside. There may not be sound coming from inside, of no concern to you. You will not open my door and bother me. Okay. If you don't fulfill this promise, if you break this demand, then I will disappear, and whatever deities are done are done. Then I will not complete the deities. Is that acceptable to you? So they said, yes, for sure, just start working. So they gave him a room where he started working on this big log, this Daru Brahm. Okay, Daru Brahm is the log or the wood from which the Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra deities are carved. He started working on this and worked on them for 14 days straight. Now on 15th day, King and the Queen Gundicha, they were getting worried. What is going on? This person is not opening the door. He's not eaten anything. He's not drunk anything. There's not even any sound coming from inside. It's like complete silence. Is he even working? Is he even using any tools on this log, on carving the deities? What is going on? So in their impatience, they knocked on the door and opened it. When they opened, of course, Vishwakarma was gone, but there were 3 forms sitting down, and these were the 3 forms of Jagannath, Subhadra, and Baldev. Now, when the king saw these forms, he saw it looked like these forms were incomplete, as if they were not completely carved, as if there is some more work left to be done, and Vishwakarma just left because they disturbed him. So king was full of remorse and regret. Oh, why did I disturb Vishwakarma? I should have let him complete. Now he has not completed the deities. Now who will come and carve these deities further? What will happen? Why was I so impatient? I did 1,000 yagyas. I traveled so far. I could not get darshan of Neel Madhav deities. After all of this, finally I could not even get the completed deities. So he was lamenting in such a way. And then Narad Muni came to him. Narad Muni patted him on the shoulder and said, Indradyumna Maharaj, my dear king, please look at these deities again. And please get up. Don't worry. This is the deities. These are the forms that Lord intended. I will tell you why. And then he told him the story of what he saw in another kalpa, in another time, another age, when he saw the 3 forms, the forms of separation of Krishna, Balram, and Subhadra Maharani, and how they were standing outside the door, and they had manifested the exact same form, and they had given him promise, they had given him benediction that one day they will appear in this form, and my devotee Indradyumna will be the instrument in manifesting these forms, and you will assist him in this seva. And look, today you have held it, you have done it. This is the exact form that I saw. This is the exact form that I wanted the entire universe to benefit from. So please, don't worry. Let's go. Take these deities and install them. Let's make a temple for them. So Indradyumna Maharaj, when he heard, okay, this is the form that Krishna wanted. This is it. He was again energized, and with great energy and vigor, they made a great, huge temple in the Purushottam Kshetra, the Jagannath Puri temple. Huge temple they made. But before installing the deities, Narad Muni said that I'm going to go get Brahmaji to install these deities. Okay, you wait here and I will go get Brahmaji. Indradyumna Maharaj said, you're going to get Brahmaji to install the deities? You're going to Brahmalok? Can I come? I want to see Brahmalok. Can I come? And I request Brahmaji with you. So Narad Muni said, sure, yeah, let's go. Both of us will go to Brahmalok. So both of them went to Brahmalok. When they went to Brahmalok, at that time Brahmaji was busy, he has just acquired Neel Madhav deities. So he's busy worshipping Neel Madhav deities, offering prayers. So the guard said, Dwarpal said, just wait a few minutes, 2 minutes, and Brahmaji will be done, and then he can give you audience. So can you just wait 2 minutes? So they waited just a couple minutes, and Brahmaji finished his archana and came. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, you had to wait. I just had to finish my prayers that I was offering to the Neel Madhav. So how can I help you? So they said, how can I help you, Narad Muni and Indradyumna? So he said, Narad Muni and Indradyumna told him the whole story that, the Jagannath deities have manifested. And just like Lakshmi ji told you that after 50 years of your life, they will come. They have come now. And please help us install it. No better person than you to install the deities. Please come. Brahmaji said, yes, I will come. I will do the arti and I will do the abhishek and install the deities in the temple. But there is a slight problem. Narad, there is a slight problem. Narad Muni said, "What is the problem, Brahmaji?" Brahmaji said, those 2 minutes that you waited for me, remember the timeline that we've talked about many times yesterday and today? And devotees, you remember the timeline? That 1 minute of Brahmaji is very, very long time on earth. He said, 2 minutes that you waited for me, many kalpas have passed on the earth. All your associates are gone, Indradyumna. All those entourage that you brought, the whole kingdom, everybody is gone. Much time has passed since those deities appeared on the earth, and those deities are still there. We can go down, but you shouldn't have waited 2 minutes. It is a long time now, but still, let's go. So Indradyumna Maharaj came, and when they came, they saw, yes, the world has changed. So many kalpas have passed, but there was one person who was still there, taking care of those deities. Can you guess who was that one person? If anybody's still following the story, can you guess one person? Close associate of Indradyumna Maharaj was still there.
Mataji, his wife?
Yes, Mataji. His wife Gundicha was still there. She survived, right? It's per Lord's arrangement. No, there is no rhyme or reason. Just this per Lord's arrangement. She lived, and she was taking care of the deities in this place called Gundicha temple, right? She was taking care of the deities. So when Indradyumna Maharaj and Narad Muni came again, they saw Gundicha and they said, okay, let's take these deities to the temple, to the Jagannath Puri temple that we built. The temple was also still there. And they took the deities to the temple in cart, one cart each for each deity. And that is described as the first Rath Yatra in the scriptures. That first Rath Yatra went in the opposite direction, from Gundicha to Jagannath Puri. And they took the deities, and Brahmaji came. They offered the first aarti, did the abhishek, did the installation of the deities in the Jagannath Puri temple. Since then, the deities are being served there at the temple, right? So there comes also this little incident where the king at that time has changed now, right? The king of earth is somebody else now. So the king became upset. Who is this king? Why is he moving these deities? What is he, who does he think he is? I don't know any Indradyumna Maharaj. So he got a little envious of the king and tried to obstruct his services. But when he saw the surrender of the king, and when he heard his stories and how Narad Muni and Brahmaji, such pure devotees of the Lord, are engaged in helping Indradyumna Maharaj, then his heart softened and he realized that, what am I doing? I'm obstructing the seva of the Lords, and I'm obstructing the service carried on by the devotees of the Lord. This is not nice. So then he actually helped Indradyumna Maharaj. But initially he was envious, and then seeing their purity, he became very, very soft-hearted. But yes, that is the story of how the Jagannath deities appeared in the Jagannath Puri temple in the Purushottam Kshetra. The same Purushottam Kshetra where Neel Madhav deities used to be in the Nilachal. The same Purushottam Kshetra where so many of our acharyas have spent so much time, right? Whether it's starting from even Shankaracharya, Vallabhacharya, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, and of course our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent 18 years of his sannyas, right? The last 24 years that he was in sannyas ashram, the last 18 years of that he spent in Jagannath Puri. He stayed there in Gambhira, in the house of Kashi Mishra, right? And he would pray to Jagannath deities. He was so attached to Jagannath deities and then comes the whole story of the rasa that is exchanged between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath ji. What is the rasa? What is their mood? What is the emotion that they exchange? We can talk about that tomorrow, because that is another separate story that I can share. But there are some small stories left. Like I said, there are like 6 to 7 different stories, but these were the big ones, and then there are some small ones. Purushottam Kshetra is very, very merciful. Jagannath ji is very, very merciful, as you heard in the whole stories, how that dham is so powerful. All dhams are powerful, but this dham, okay, one thing I forgot to tell. Indradyumna Maharaj asked for 3 boons, 3 benedictions from Jagannath ji. Jagannath ji, once he was installed as you must know, Jagannath ji exchanges very, very loving pastimes with his devotees, with his people that serve him. And Indradyumna Maharaj was the first one to install him and serve him. So with Indradyumna Maharaj, he had very, very loving exchanges. And one of the things, the first thing was that ask me for some boons. I grant you 3 boons. So 3 boons that Indradyumna Maharaj asked, very, very important. One, he said, in every temple, Indradyumna Maharaj said, deities sleep, or not sleep, but take rest, and the temple is closed so that the darshan is not offered to the public in certain hours of the day, right? Like if you go to Vrindavan, you see 12:30 to 4, the temple is closed, in the night temple is closed, and all temples follow that, right? But in Jagannath Puri, the temple stays open 24 hours, except 2 hours in the night, 2 hours when the darshan is not given. And Indradyumna asked, please sleep very little. Don't sleep too much so that the jivas can get maximum darshan of you. So somebody might say, okay, so Jagannath ji, rest for those 2 hours at least. You said the temple is open rest of the time except 2 hours. No, those 2 hours are reserved for demigods. That's the time when demigods come and worship. And then that brings another story, how one priest was once locked the door of Jagannath Puri and walking out, and he came across this gigantic person, 30-foot tall person. And he looked at him amazed. What is this? Who is this person trying to enter into the temple? He asked this person, excuse me, sir, who are you? Why are you trying to enter into the temple? He said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm Vibhishan. I'm just trying to get the darshan of the Lord. You know, the darshan is open right now for 2 hours. So I'm trying to get darshan of the Lord. I have come to visit the Lord. Can I be entered? Can I be given entrance into the temple? So he said, how can I say, how do I know you are Vibhishan? He said, okay, you don't believe me? Take my bracelet and look. On my bracelet there is inscriptions of Lord Ram from the Treta Yuga. And he actually showed him the inscriptions, and priest was very learned. When he saw the inscription, he said, oh my God, you're really Vibhishan. He said, okay, give me this, can I keep this bracelet for proof? And you can go in, please go in, everything is yours. So Vibhishan went in, but that bracelet is still there in Jagannath Puri, and as you know, Vibhishan is huge. So that bracelet is actually the size of like a big chariot wheel. But yes, in those 2 hours, the demigods get the darshan. That was one boon. Don't sleep too much, Indradyumna Maharaj said. Okay, so people can get maximum darshan. Second boon, he said, please eat a lot. Eat a lot. Once you eat and you wash your hands, even before your hands are dry, eat the next meal. Then before your hands are dry, eat the next meal. Can you keep eating the whole day, Jagannath ji? Indradyumna Maharaj asked. Jagannath ji said, what kind of boons are you asking me? So mat khate raho, ye kaise boons mang rahe ho? Okay, fine, but why? He said, because, you know, I have seen, Indradyumna Maharaj said, in my whole life I have seen people sleep through everything. They sleep through a katha, they sleep through kirtan, they sleep through chanting, they sleep through meditation, they sleep through every kind of devotional act. Okay, there is only one act when people don't sleep, and that is when they're accepting prasadam. So I want you to give mercy through your prasadam. Your prasadam should be freely available to all and to everybody and anybody. So Jagannath ji said yes. And so you see that even though in the temple entrance is not allowed for everybody, as you might know, only Hindus are allowed entry into the Puri temple for very important reasons. But the prasad is available to anybody and everybody, and available 24 hours a day. And it is said you eat prasad, even if you eat a prasad that a dog has licked, it is still pure and transcendental, and a Brahman can have it. It is the power of prasadam in Jagannath Puri is very, very high. So people don't even follow any fasting there, because eating of the prasadam is considered way more important than fasting actually. So he said, keep eating a lot and offer so that everybody gets your prasadam. Then the third boon he said that in Jagannath Puri, no king of Jagannath Puri will have a son. किसी का कोई बेटा नहीं होगा. So Jagannath ji said, ये कैसा boon है? Why shouldn't a king have a son? He said, because we don't know what kind of a son will manage the temple. Okay, because we have seen that over time the service of the deities in the temple gets degenerated because it falls into the hands of materialistic people. I don't want that to happen to Jagannath temple. I don't want to happen that to your service. Your service cannot be diluted. So I don't want materialistic people taking over the Jagannath Puri. So even if the son of a king is not eligible, there should not be any fight going on between people to have the throne. Okay, so this factor should not even be there, that there is any fight for the throne. Okay, any materialistic mindset should not come in Jagannath Puri at all. So there will not be any son to the king. So, and you will see that, no king ever has a son in Jagannath Puri, and the way that king is chosen is, or the Gajpati is the king, Gajpati is chosen is basically there is an elephant who will walk with a garland in his trunk, and whoever the elephant deems fit and puts garland in their neck, that person becomes the king, the next king. It is said that one time a person was sleeping, it was like a shepherd, he was just sleeping on the road, and this Hathi put the garland on his neck and he became the king. So in this way, the king will be chosen completely randomly and no king will have a son. So grant me these three boons, Indradyumna Maharaj said. And in this way, the boons were granted, and Jagannath Puri temple darshan is open, except for those 2 hours when demigods visit. The prasadam is available free to anybody and everybody. King is chosen completely randomly and by a Gajpati, and is called a Gajpati. So this is the story of the appearance of Jagannath Ji, which is coming. And on any other days there is fasting recommended, but on the appearance day of Jagannath Ji, actually Jagannath Ji takes a public bath called Snan Yatra, which we can, if you want, we can wrap up a few stories here and there and some important festivals, but there is no fasting on the appearance day of Jagannath Ji. And 14 days later, the Gundicha Marjanam happens, which is cleaning of the temple the day before the Rath Yatra, and then the next day Rath Yatra happens. Rath Yatra happens from Jagannath Puri temple to the Gundicha, and the whole story behind it is again different, is a full story of rasas and mellows about the emotions that Jagannath Ji feels, and what emotions, what bhav is he in, what bhav did Mahaprabhu feel. That is a whole story into itself. Why Gundicha Marjanam happened, why Jagannath Rath Festival happens, all this is a whole story unto itself. But this was the appearance of Jagannath Ji. So I'll stop here. Please, anybody has any questions or corrections or realizations, please share. Thank you. I hope I didn't put everybody to sleep.
No, Mataji.
सब लोग सो गए या सोने चले गए?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you so much. Just want to express gratitude, Mataji. I don't have any questions or comments or anything. You took so much effort to share and present to us. Very, very grateful to you.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. I know it's very, very late, so we should stop. I'll stop here. Vancha kaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.